Hey y'all, how's it going? Silent Coyote here, and today we're going to be checking out the Cyber Byte Fallshot, which is a gaming mouse by the brand new company Cyber Byte, who sent this out to me to get my opinion on it. So let's get into it.
Okay, so this here is the Cyber Byte Fallshot, as I'd mentioned before, and you can pick up this mouse on Amazon right now for $16.99, making it one of the cheapest gaming mice that you can find with these kind of features. Whether it actually lives up to its promises, well, we'll have to see. But speaking of the features, this mouse rocks an A825 optical sensor with its DPI options going up to 12,800, which is extraordinarily high for a mouse at this price. It has a 60 IPS tracking speed, 20G acceleration capabilities, 1000 Hz polling rate, and a 7000 FPS scan rate. Now, the packaging isn't anything to particularly rave about, but it's nice and includes all the specs that I just went over with you. I mean, it's just thin cardboard, but what can you really expect from a mouse this cheap? Especially from such a new company is obviously putting the cost into the features rather than the box, and I can dig that. Now, usually from a mouse of this price point, you shouldn't really expect any extras in the box, but this mouse did come with some Cyber Byte stickers, which I thought was pretty cool, and it also comes with a card inviting its users to join the official Cyber Byte Discord, as well as the instruction manual. Also, the mouse comes all wrapped up in a little plastic pouch, presumably to protect the matte black finish from scratches during shipping, which is a nice thing to see. Now, the instruction manual is really easy to follow and basically just includes the button layout, a QR code for the Discord, a QR code for the Cyber Byte Instagram, as well as an installation instructions, which basically just say that it works with Windows 7 and above, and you just plug the thing in and it works. There is no software, so when it comes to reassigning any of the buttons or using a custom RGB layout, you can't do that at this time. But there are a lot of presets for the RGB. I'm not sure if they plan on implementing some sort of software in the future, but for now, this is just how it is. As for the design, we have a whole bunch of RGB underglow with a pretty sweet looking RGB Cyber Byte logo, but like I said, no software to control it. There is, however, a designated button to control the RGB mode right beside the DPI button, but we will get into that a little bit more later. It has 7 buttons total, weighs 82 grams, which is pretty heavy for a budget mouse, and it has textured rubbery side grips and a matte black coating that's soft to the touch, similar to the Razer mouse that I daily drive. Now, one thing that is different than the mouse I use is the fact that the side buttons on this one are raised into like little ridges or mountains, which I personally find uncomfortable to use for prolonged periods, but that's just my preference. Now, the USB cable is braided, which is nice because it doesn't get caught up on things like a rubber cable would. And aside from the design, this mouse also comes with a 1-year warranty for parts and labor to fix it if something were to go wrong, as well as lifetime support if you have any questions or issues that they can resolve over the phone, email, or through their Discord. Now, let's take a look at the RGB. There are obviously a bunch of RGB diodes in this thing, as at any given time you can have, from what I can count, at least 12 different colors across the zones. As I mentioned earlier, the button underneath the DPI button controls the RGB mode itself, and the mouse will also light up different colors, informing you what DPI setting you're on when you're adjusting that, which is super cool. Now, although there isn't software for the RGB modes, there are an ass load of presets and basically enough that you can match up to any color scheme that you may have going on at your desk. There are statics for every color of the rainbow, as well as ones that change and ones that react to button presses. For what it is, it works great, and it looks really nice. It truly looks like a premium product, especially with the shine-through Cyber Byte logo that I mentioned before. Now, going back to the DPI button, there is no information in the manual about this, or what the DPI colors mean, or what the DPI presets even are, but there are 6 different settings, seemingly starting at about 800 and going up to 12,800, so you should be able to find one that works for you, even if you have a really big high-resolution monitor. For my 2K 32-inch monitor, I personally like the lowest setting, which again, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe is 800, as that is the standard low setting for gaming mice. I personally like to set my DPI on my Razer mouse to about 1200, but 800 works good for me, as you'll see later when I test this thing out. Now, excuse me while I cycle through some of the RGB settings so you can see what you'll get if you buy this thing. Now, overall, the mouse is very comfortable in my hand, and aside from the raised side buttons, which again is a personal preference as they're a very expensive mice with this feature, it is exactly the type of layout that I typically use. Now, the mouse that I daily drive is a Razer Naga Trinity, which has the removable side plate to swap out the 2 buttons for 8 or 12, but honestly, I only really use the 2 buttons, and unless you plan on using those extra plates for MMO gaming, they're kind of inconvenient and I feel like more of a gimmick. 2 buttons are just fine for me. The scroll wheel is nice, a little fast for my liking, and it sucks that you can't control or change the speed of it, but the feel of it is premium, and I think in time I could get used to its speed. On the other hand, when it comes to the feet on the bottom of the mouse, which are there to help it glide, which are extremely important to have, there's a pretty big issue here. Let me explain. The front 2 feet are nice and flat, as they should be, but the rear foot pad is all wrinkled, as you can see here, and that is not good. I don't think that this is part of the design of the mouse, or at least I hope not, and I think there was a mistake in the production of it. This is something that I noticed immediately when using the mouse, and only really discovered it because of the fact that I could feel it. I'm hoping that the mouse I received is just a fluke, because if not, this could become a serious problem. Fortunately, all I had to do to fix it was take my fingernail and press in the spots where the wrinkles were to even it out, and now it looks and feels completely fine. If you do happen to get one and the bottom foot is like mine was, you could probably just do what I did to fix it without issue, or you can order some new feet, cut them to size, and replace them, but I imagine if you're buying a budget mouse like this, that probably isn't going to be an option, because feet can cost nearly half as much as the mouse, or more, but doing so would get you higher quality feet that would be an upgrade to even high-end mice, so it might be worth it to you. The corner of the foot had to be shoved back down into the designated cutout for the foot, but I was also fortunate in the fact that I could shove it back in without having to remove it at all, because once you peel a foot off, it usually doesn't stick again, or at least not well. Because the feet in the front are nice and flat, I honestly think the machine that places the feet just messed up the placement on this one, but if it can happen at all, it's an issue that needs to be addressed. Even before fixing the foot, it doesn't make the mouse unusable by any means, but it is 100% noticeable, especially compared to the same mouse after fixing it. You could just hear it drag. Now that it is fixed, the mouse glides extremely well, and the feet feel pretty decent, especially for the price point. Aside from this one single issue I ran into, I have no other problems with the mouse, and honestly, I think it's worth taking the risk to buy, even with this potential problem, as I'm sure if you got one with the same issue and couldn't smooth it out yourself, Cyber Byte would be willing to either fix it, replace it, or at least send you some new feet free of charge. Looking at the reviews on Amazon, I'm thinking that it was a fluke, as so far all the ratings are really good and nobody else mentioned this as a problem. I will order another one in the future to see, but for now, it is what it is. At least I got it fixed. Now, I wanted to test the mouse out before fixing the foot, as I wanted to test out how it worked right out of the box. And honestly, it didn't affect my gameplay much at all, as you'll see here in a minute. The only thing it really did was make that scraping sound and glide a little less smoothly, but honestly, I play with headphones on anyway, and I didn't notice it much, and I kind of forgot about it after a few minutes. Now, after fixing it, it was significantly better, and I was kind of surprised on how well it glided in my hand, and how comfortable the mouse was in general to use. I'm guessing that the feet of this mouse, or skates, some people refer to them as skates, but I like saying mouse feet, are made from a material called PTFE, and I believe that these are indeed made from PTFE just by the way that they glide and the way that they look. Now, to test out this mouse, I decided to play the game that got me into gaming with a mouse and keyboard rather than a controller, and that game is Fortnite. Like I said, I ended up using the mouse as it came out of the box, with the wrinkles in the foot and all, and honestly, it was fine, even how it was. I mean, hell, I even copped a victory royale my first round with it after not getting one on the last couple of games I played with my everyday mouse. It was comfortable, and honestly, once I started really getting into it, I forgot I was testing out a new mouse at all. Once I fixed the foot, I ended up editing this entire video with it, and I completely forgot that I wasn't using my Naga Trinity, which is an $80 mouse, by the way. Overall, I think that Cyber Byte is certainly going to be on top when it comes to budget peripheral manufacturers in time, as this mouse is truly an amazing deal for $17. I can say that I recommend it to anyone looking for a mouse under $20, and it might even compete with mice of a higher price point. I compared it to the Red Dragon Ranger Basic, a mouse at about the same price point made by a much larger and well-established company, and honestly, they were very close, with Cyber Byte taking the lead for certain aspects and Red Dragon taking it for others, which is a really good look for Cyber Byte, a brand new company. I will be comparing both the Fallout and Cyber Byte's other mouse, the Color Storm, to the Ranger Basic in another video that I'll be posting soon, so if you're interested in seeing that, or if you just like the content in general, please hit that subscribe button. I think that the Cyber Byte Fallshot has the potential to become one of the top-selling budget gaming mice, and if you're considering buying one, I'd say go for it. It has some seriously premium features, and it fiercely competes with other gaming mice that you can get for the same price, including the top-selling mouse on Amazon, the Red Dragon Ranger Basic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Just so it's said, I have absolutely no affiliation with Cyber Byte besides the fact that they contacted me to send me out some free mice to try out. They said I could make a review video if I wanted to and to give my honest opinion, and that is exactly what I did. If I didn't like it, I would tell you, and honestly, I do. It only has a little bit to do with the fact that I snagged a victory royale with it. This video was not screened by anyone and was directly uploaded to my YouTube. Hope this helps you pick out a good mouse. See you soon.